Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you, talking all about WWE Monday Night Raw coming to you this week. And it seems that they're going to be running with John Cena versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2015. This was a video that I know that last week they had their promo on Monday Night Raw where basically Cena was weighing in saying he thought the United States Championship meant more than the World Heavyweight Championship means these days, seeing how Cena makes sure he goes in and he defends this title each and every week, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view. He has a different opponent and he's always bringing on the biggest and best. And it seems that Rollins, even though he is World Heavyweight Championship, a belt that seems like, fell into his lap because he was a member of the Authority, is always trying to find a way to get out of it. I know that Seth Rollins was able to have a match and not lose his championship to Brock Lesnar, which is probably the biggest guy that he's fought, but he's also had matches where against lesser caliber main eventers like Dean Ambrose, and he's been able to escape out of those matches mostly with outside interference, making sure that he keeps the title. John Cena, one of the biggest, one of the best, and since WrestleMania 31, has really taken a back seat in WWE, and this will be, even though it's not, the main event for him, even though it's going after the World Heavyweight Championship, it is, a main event style match. If it wasn't for The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, this probably would be the match to close out the show. John Cena, no matter where he is on the card, if he's fighting for the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, hell, even if they found a way for John to get in a series of matches with the Tag Team Championships, is always going to be considered in WWE's eyes the main event. If you can remember back a few years ago, at WrestleMania 30, John Cena was having his match against Bray Wyatt, and WWE was touting it out as this is our main event. It doesn't matter where Cena fights on the card or who Cena fights. John Cena's match will always be the main event of WrestleMania because he is the guy that people come to see. He is the guy that they put on all the radio and TV interviews. He is the guy that does all the Make-A-Wish grants. He is the guy on the lunchboxes, on the backpacks, on the t-shirts. His name probably appears on every ticket that they sell. WWE is John Cena. The same way that, after WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan was supposed to take that sort of role. And Warrior was going to be the champion, but Hogan was going to be the legend. Hogan wasn't going to appear on all of the house shows, but if there was a big TV, if there was a big pay-per-view, Hogan was going to be there, and Hogan was going to be one of the names that really helped sell the tickets because he is the guy that got them from WrestleMania 1 all the way to the point they were at then. WrestleMania 6 wouldn't have been as big as their deal if Hulk Hogan wasn't involved. Ultimate Warrior was supposed to be the guy to take them to the next level, and that's what WWE is looking for right now with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. One of these guys, or even somebody that's coming out of NXT that's not even there yet, has to be the next person to grab that brass ring because Cena's not going to be able to do it forever. And that's what I think this is supposed to be. I mean, you can definitely see that WWE hasn't been having the best ratings as of a while. WWE normally will blame this on whoever the champion is. You can remember when Daniel Bryan was in the hunt to go after the championship, or even once he got it, WWE was pointing at those ratings, saying like, look, it's not what you guys think. You guys might be chanting, you guys may making a lot of noise with the yes chants, but people aren't changing the channel in order to see Daniel Bryan as champion. And Seth Rollins is sort of getting that blame put on him right now. This is probably going to be one of the biggest things that gives Seth Rollins one of the biggest shots in the arm at SummerSlam. In my mind, Seth Rollins is going to do what he does every pay-per-view and find a way to get out of this match, find a way to keep his championship, and Cena will go on to be doing something else. And we'll have to see. Cena had to do something after the Kevin Owens program, so we'll have to see what waits him next. But Cena versus Rollins, SummerSlam 2015. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. The big rumor of the day is talking about John Cena's nose. Yes! Right there, John Cena on Monday Night Raw in a big match. The main event for the United States Championship against Seth Rollins took a huge knee to the nose. The nose blew up. You basically saw John Cena's nose get broke on WWE television. The one thing we know about John Cena, whether you love the guy or you hate the guy, is you know that John Cena is one of the toughest son of bitches in wrestling. John Cena has gone through just about every injury you can think of. He always finds a way to put on those wristbands, put on his hat, and make his way to those towns. No matter if it's a house show, no matter if it's a television, a pay-per-view, John Cena knows that his name is on the top of the marquee. And if there is no John Cena, basically WWE has to go out before the show and say John Cena will not be able to appear due to injury, and refunds are being given at the ticket box office if needed. John Cena knows that a lot of stock is built on his shoulders and his biceps that are going down. You know, John Cena, as of right now, has been pulled from the whole Australia tour, which is going down, which is a very big moneymaker for WWE. Basically, you know, John Cena has already been pulled from the go-home show to SummerSlam, which is going to be in Everett, Washington. John Cena isn't in the main event of SummerSlam, but he is in a very big match. And at this point, you have to wonder if John Cena versus Seth Rollins is even going to take place at SummerSlam, and what you can do to even fill that hole. Basically, you've already got Undertaker going up against Brock Lesnar. That's going to be the rematch from WrestleMania 30. They're acting as if WrestleMania 31, Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt, never happened. They're acting as if Undertaker, you know, just hasn't been in WWE in months and months and months, for over a year. And I guess if you're like me, you wish you didn't see Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at last year's WrestleMania, but we saw it. I had to sit through it. It was a very boring match, and I probably looked at my phone a lot because I don't remember a lot about it. But John Cena going up against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe it's a double championship match. Maybe the Authority is going to make Cena put the U.S. title on there. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I didn't think that Cena was going to be winning the championship. I didn't think that Cena you know, was going to lose this championship. I thought that, you know, it was just going to be a average Rollins match. Well, not average. I apologize. I thought Rollins is a good wrestler. I think that Rollins is going to put on a very good match against John Cena. Cena, you know, very rarely on pay-per-view when the cards are on the table and basically, you know, you're going to have to put it up or shut up. Cena always finds a way to deliver. You know, I don't think there's going to be a finish. I don't think that Cena's going to walk out the champion. I don't think that Rollins is going to pin Cena. I just think that there's going to be that, you know, average pay-per-view, you know, blow up, you know, whatever happens. DQ, count out, squash, you know, just everybody in there fighting each other. You know, it was something like that. But, you know, I've heard, you know, the stories about John Cena being pulled off the road, basically having to have emergency surgery on his nose. I've heard that Nikki Bella, your Divas champion, his girlfriend from Total Divas, has been pulled off of shows as well to be by Cena's side as he's trying to go through these surgeries. Is WWE going to make him put him out there? You can remember when Cena had the pec tear, I can't remember what year that was, but basically people didn't think we were going to see this guy. If we were even going to see him, we were going to see him at WrestleMania that year. But Cena, you know, was a surprise number 30 entrant in the Royal Rumble, probably one of the biggest Royal Rumble surprises of all time. You know, he said that he went into rehab and he pushed himself twice as hard to make sure that he could come back as soon as he could and not risk being injured. But, you know, is this broken nose going to take John Cena out of SummerSlam? If you don't have your nose, you can't get proper breathing. You can't have, you know, good cardio inside of the ring to keep yourself from going because you can't catch your breath. And that was one of the things that people talked about at the Monday Night Raw match, was that how was Cena able to keep going? You know, basically, you would think they were already over the 9 o'clock, well, no, whatever it is. When the hell does Raw end? Raw ends at 11. Or it ends at 8 on the West Coast. You know, they'd already run over the time that it's supposed to end. There's always that overrun time that they always act like they're giving us for free, but I think you've been watching wrestling long enough, you know that they're going to run over the hour every time. I think that somebody would probably be really surprised if Raw actually ended at 58 minutes to the hour, like most television show does, to giving them times to run a commercial for the next show that would be coming on. But, you know, all he had to do was really find a way to finish the match sooner than later, but John probably wrestled everything that they said they were going to do in the back. But we'll see what goes down. But as of right now, I think there's big question marks on John Cena versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. You got to think of who other #1 contenders to go after the championship would be. As of right now, you already have Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose tied up into a feud with the Wyatts. Both of these guys have been the guys that have been going after the championship with Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose recently just ran through a series of matches with him. Who out there are you going to be able to promote up to have a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match and make it meaningful for this SummerSlam that's supposed to have the same amount of meaning as a WrestleMania would, and not take away from it? I think SummerSlam, John Cena is going to be there, but as of right now, more than likely huge question marks. Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. We now have our co-main event for our big SummerSlam 2015. Seth Rollins last night on Monday Night Raw challenging John Cena to go title for title at the big SummerSlam show coming up in a few weeks. Kind of a real big surprise to me that they want to go champion for championship. We've already seen this with the NXT title versus the United States Championship. I'm guessing that they think that's going to bring a lot more expectations. I guess it's already rising the value of the United States Championship, something they've been trying to do with John Cena since WrestleMania 31. It's too bad Daniel Bryan's injury, they weren't able to revive the Intercontinental Championship. Also with Ryback's injury, we've seen him sitting on the sideline for the last month now, and no Intercontinental Championship title match has been named. I saw yesterday that Ryback said that he was coming back, but we'll have to see when and where they're able to bring back the IC Championship. But we already have our big main event being Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Now, John Cena, I thought last week there was thoughts of pulling him from SummerSlam, seeing how he had the injury to his nose from Seth Rollins. Instead, basically WWE is trying to capitalize on it. They came out with a really cool Seth Rollins shirt, mocking the John Cena shirt, saying that you can't see me, never shuts up. I thought it was very fitting. It's only been a few times they've come out with shirts that have mocked John Cena. I thought that honestly, Miz made some really good shirts back in 2009 that probably a lot of people would have bought, but I think either John Cena or WWE squashed them, basically thinking that at that time, even though the shirts were going to make money, bad publicity against John Cena probably just was not good. I know that they came out with the Cena hater. I can't remember what the official words that were on it. T-shirt a few years ago. I'm sure that John Cena was even the guy that got paid the merch off of it. So it is what it is. I think it's a very good shirt. I bet they're going to sell a lot of shirts. Yesterday they were having the 25% off sale, and I bet a lot of people jumped on those orders as soon as they could. But when it comes down to it, and I see Seth Rollins versus John Cena, it's going to be champion versus champion. The United States title is going to be on the line, as well as the WWE Championship. I still think that when it comes down to it, we're going to have some sort of a false finish or no finish, count out, disqualification, something like that. I don't see John Cena winning the WWE Championship. I don't see Seth Rollins taking the United States title. I just see this as a one match, and then they'll go in their separate directions from where they are now, moving on to bigger and better things. Hopefully, you can definitely see in the undercard, we've got Owens and Cesaro having a really hot battle in the undercard, not even for a championship, just bringing hope that these guys that are on the bottom are going to be rising to the top sooner than later, having more guys to go after the WWE Championship. But you can sort of see that as a #1 contenders match for something in the foreseeable future. Maybe the winner would go after Rollins. Maybe the loser would go back and go to Cena. And it would bring a lot of fresh legs to what's going on in WWE right now. And one of the biggest complaints is not having new matches. But with so many guys coming up at an NXT, there's going to be fresh matches all over for everybody. And this is going to be a good one. I just don't think that we're going to be seeing a new champion crowned. I don't even think we're going to see a finish of this match with Cena versus Rollins. Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Basically, we're going to be talking a lot about the upcoming WWE SummerSlam show, because WWE has announced that after Monday Night Raw, they're going to be showing a retrospective on Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. I'm going to sit down tonight and I'm going to watch Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar matches. I think I'm going to have a ton of fun sitting down to watch these matches, so I'm looking forward to that tonight. But upcoming on Monday Night Raw, there's a big, resurgence coming. I think that it's going to be a really, really good show. I can feel that WWE's really pushing SummerSlam to make it a whole lot of fun. A 4-hour extravaganza. Last week on Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins came out wearing his brand new "You Can't See Me, Never Shuts Up" t-shirt, and he issued a challenge of champion versus champion, championship versus championship. Seth Rollins putting his WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line against John Cena and his United States Championship. Basically, Seth Rollins knows that he shocked the world by reaching that knee out and finding a way to break John Cena's nose live on Monday Night Raw. Probably one of the most talked about things from Monday Night Raw in the last few weeks, since Undertaker came out and made the challenge to Brock Lesnar, and Brock and Taker were fighting all around the arena. The cops finally had to show up and take Brock Lesnar out of the arena. That was the only way that they found out they were going to be able to stop this brawl. But Cena has to answer this challenge, and Cena hasn't been seen on TV, though Cena has been tweeting and basically putting up live videos of him working out in the gym, saying that he's finding ways to work out harder than ever and set new weight limits. If I was Seth Rollins, I would run. I'd be really, really scared. I think you really poked the beast here. I think that Cena's going to be coming back stronger than ever. If it's up to me and my guess, I think that John Cena is going to be making an appearance on Monday Night Raw this week. I know that people are thinking that maybe he's not going to be on television. He's been pulled off of the Australian tour, as well as a few of the other listings of what shows he's going to be at. But honestly, in my opinion, John Cena is a guy that knows that he is the flagship of the WWE. I think that he knows that he needs to step up and answer the challenge of Seth Rollins. But, an easier way to put it is that John Cena has been announced that he's going to be on Tough Enough this week on Tuesday, and I know that more than likely, John Cena, who did get his nose touched up, probably was going to be down at the Performance Center, trying to work out, trying to see how much cardio he could be getting inside of a match. So I can see him probably working out inside of the rings at the Performance Center already, where they do Tough Enough. Basically, just saying, hey, will you make an appearance for us on Tuesday? I think that it fits hand in hand, seeing how basically a portion of Tough Enough is filmed, live, but a portion of it is filmed throughout the week, starting basically right when the last week's episode ends, and they're sort of, mixed in together to become one show. I'm thinking that Cena's already going to be there, so that's the reason why Cena's going to be doing the show. But honestly, Cena has to answer this challenge, and I don't see Cena answering this challenge via Twitter or via satellite. Cena's going to do this live in person in Washington. They're calling it Seattle, but it's in some other little town. Burke? I can't exactly remember what it is, but Cena's going to answer this challenge. And at SummerSlam, Cena and Rollins are going to fight. And honestly, in my mind, I know that Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker is going to be the main event. And it's going to be what everybody's focused on, and more than likely what everybody's going to be talking about come Monday, getting us ready for Monday Night Raw. But I think that Cena and Rollins more than likely will have some sort of a false finish, no finish. Something's going to come of it. I don't think that Cena is going to be losing his United States Championship. I don't think that Rollins is going to be losing his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I think that both guys will just walk away from the ring, more than likely pick different guys to battle with, and we'll see what goes from there. Maybe, Sheamus is a portion of SummerSlam trying to cash in his Money in the Bank. I know that he has a feud ongoing with Randy Orton, and I know that we just had a WWE cash in at WrestleMania 31, so it seems like it's still fresh and in everybody's mind, but he's got to use it sometime. I don't really see anybody holding on to that Money in the Bank briefcase for as long as Seth Rollins did, which I think, honestly, is the longest that anybody's ever... No, it can't be, because Dolph Ziggler held it one more day because he cashed in the night after WrestleMania on Alberto Del Rio, after Swagger beat him up. And they went from there. But that's SummerSlam. SummerSlam's co-main event, Taker versus Lesnar, Rollins versus Cena. The challenge is out there. No doubt in my mind that at Monday Night Raw, Cena is going to answer the challenge, and we're going to go from there. SummerSlam, Cena versus Rollins. Going to be a big one. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here tonight, talking all about WWE's Monday Night Raw with the Raw preview for tomorrow. I know that I listened to Wrestling Observer this morning, and I listened to Wrestling Observer Live this afternoon, and both of these shows talked about the fact that WWE Monday Night Raw is not saying that John Cena is going to be in attendance. They're also not saying that The Undertaker is going to be there. Honestly, I know that WWE is hyping up the fact that John Cena is going to make an appearance on Tough Enough this week, and I think that has a lot to do with John Cena had surgery to try and repair his nose, and more than likely he's trying to get into the ring, trying to test out how much cardio he's going to be able to do to push through this SummerSlam match against Seth Rollins. I know that when you bust up your nose, it takes a lot of your air passageways, and, getting air into your lungs and not getting blown up is going to be a big thing for John Cena to get into shape for this SummerSlam match. There's some people that are even crazy thinking that John Cena versus Seth Rollins is going to copy Ring of Honor's last championship match between, I believe, Roderick Strong and Jay Lethal, where the match went to a 1-hour draw. Honestly, I know that WWE SummerSlam did get pushed from 3 hours to 4, but I don't think that they're going to be running an Iron Man match or just a 1-hour match in the middle of it. I know that, people love wrestling, and they love, when people actually really wrestle on the shows, even though they're not allowed to call them wrestlers. But I think there's a sort of a limit of too much wrestling. I know that when I watched the Survivor Series match, which I believe went 45 minutes last year, the Authority going up against Team Cena, I thought that 45 minutes was a little bit much for one match because, you don't really want to get up in the middle of it. You might have to get you go to the bathroom, you might have to get a drink. I'm not a big fan of Iron Man matches. It just, they've just never really gotten to me. Brett versus Shawn, I'm sure if you watch it and you really pick apart, the wrestling, I'm sure it's great. And I'm sure you really can't say that those guys messed up a lot. And I know when you watch the Brett versus Shawn documentary that they did with JR, they talk about how when they mapped that out, Brett planned it, all right, when we get to here, there's going to be 10 minutes left on the clock, and you look at these guys in the match, both look at the clock, and the clock ticks right to 10 minutes. It was almost like they knew right where they were going to be, right when they were going to do it, so there's nothing wrong about the match. It's just not a match that I don't think anybody really goes back and watches all that much, because who's got an hour and 10 minutes to set up aside to go watch Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart when you can watch some of the other matches, which might not go as long, but might be just as good? I think that honestly, even though John Cena is not, tagged to appear, why would you waste John Cena's return on Tough Enough when easily you could put him as a surprise on Monday Night Raw? I know that, it's on the West Coast, but I know that basically Paige did Monday Night Raw last week in San Jose, and she was able to jump on a plane, and she was able to get back to the Performance Center in order to be on Tough Enough on Tuesday. So it's not that impossible for John Cena to be able to do this, because more than likely Paige will be featured on Monday Night Raw. She'd just have to hop on the same plane and be able to be there. And plus, The Miz is going to be there with Tough Enough as well. So a lot of these people got to get from Monday to Tuesday and go coast to coast. John Cena, I think, would be great as a surprise appearance on Monday Night Raw in the opening segment, or even if they do this in the last. But, Seth Rollins issued a challenge, and I don't see John Cena answering this challenge on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or anything else. John Cena is going to answer this challenge in person, and I think it's going to be in Seth Rollins' face on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. I know in the last 2 days since Monday Night Raw, I've knocked out previews for the matches that are going to be happening at SummerSlam that were added this Monday. Talked about the tag title Fatal 4-Way, talked about the Divas Tag Elimination, talked about the Stephen Amell and Neville match going up against Stardust and Kick Barrett. I know that there still needs to be an announcement of Sheamus versus Randy Orton and Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. But lots and lots of big matches going on at SummerSlam. One of the matches that we knew that was going to happen, but was in a little bit of danger, was finally named and confirmed today. John Cena, your 15-time World Heavyweight Champion, getting into the ring, going after Seth Rollins. This time will be a little bit different because it's winner take all. The United States Championship versus the WWE World Heavyweight title. Lots of big stakes on here. I know these guys wrestled on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago. Most people will remember about John Cena's broken nose more than the fact that John Cena won the match, keeping his United States Championship during the United States Open Challenge on Monday Night Raw. But this is going to be a weird one. You know, for a while, I've been thinking that this was an open and shut case. This is going to be a no contest. This is going to be a draw. This is going to be a disqualification. This is going to be a count out. Anything that keeps both guys with their belts. You know, they just walk away, go in different directions, and, have a great SummerSlam match in the making. But so much talk surrounding this match. Is it going to happen? For one, I thought it was a little bit of a wuss move for WWE to not have John Cena on Monday Night Raw. You know, we had Seth Rollins. We had him call out John Cena, basically saying that I broke your nose. I'm better than you. I'm challenging you to a match at SummerSlam, champion versus champion, championship versus championship, because you beat me and I want to prove to the world that I'm better than you. I broke your nose. I broke your spirit. I got your number. And Cena just did not respond. They held John Cena off of Monday Night Raw. They did not bring him to Washington. He was a part of Tough Enough due to the fact that Tough Enough is having very bad, very, very low numbers. And he really didn't do anything. If you watch the show, John came out there. He wished everyone the best of luck. He wasn't involved in training. He wasn't involved in coaching. He just was on the show to be on the show. I think that Tough Enough, honestly, is a good show for what it is. If WWE was able to scale it down and cut the production you have to cut it more than half, 3/4, I think. I think it would be tough to have Daniel Bryan, Paige, all of the current superstars. If they were to find some legends, or maybe even just use the in-house people at the NXT Performance Center, I think this could live on the WWE Network. Definitely, you're not going to have Chris Jericho as your host, but you could use Renee Young. She's really only on the road for Mondays and Tuesdays for Raw and SmackDown. Most of the time she's around, the Performance Center anyways, doing NXT, this, that, or the other. So, if you were really able to scale this down, I think it's a show that could go on the WWE Network, and it's not going to be as big. So, in some people's eyes, it might not be as good, but I think that honestly, it would be just as good. But Cena's probably not going to help this number at all. I don't see anybody tuning into Tough Enough halfway through the season when it's almost over. I think you're down to your final 5, and I'm not sure. They brought it up when John Cena was near the panel. They asked him if he was going to wrestle, Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. He didn't really have an answer, but Daniel Bryan led the crowd in the yes chant. Yes, yes. Trying to get everybody to jump on board with the match. And instead of waiting until Monday and having John Cena confront Seth Rollins one-on-one, I don't know if it's to help any of the numbers. I don't see anybody, today seeing WWE.com and immediately typing in WWEnetwork.com and putting in their credit card information to make sure they have the WWE Network for SummerSlam. They just put the match up, saying the match was confirmed, it was signed, done deal, match, SummerSlam, no real build except for Seth Rollins complaining on Monday Night Raw, and, John Cena appearing on Tough Enough and refusing to answer the question and just basically moving on to the next segment. But the match is going to happen, and it's going to be a throwdown. Cena going up against Rollins, champion versus champion. I still think no contest. That's about it. WWE World Heavyweight Championship time. This is the co-main event of WWE SummerSlam 2015. Of course, this is Seth Rollins versus John Cena, champion versus champion. Both guys are going to be walking into this match holding championships. John Cena, of course, being the United States champion. And one guy is supposedly going to walk out with both championships around his waist. Or, in John Cena's case, both championships draped around his neck. If we go back to him winning the titles at Money in the Bank, of course, after Daniel Bryan and his injury, after WrestleMania 30, he was forced to be stripped of the championship. The belts got put on the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Cena ended up walking out. He ended up having to play the part that Daniel Bryan was supposed to play at Survivor Series, going up against Brock Lesnar. It was the last time that John Cena held the championship before being beat at last year's SummerSlam. Here he is having a chance to go after it one more time. Cena had a promo on Monday Night Raw basically saying that he was at the point of his career where he thought he was never going to get a championship shot once again. But when the opportunity came a knocking with Seth Rollins challenging him, he jumped all over it. Honestly, in my mind, John Cena feels like he's been involved in WWE for a long time. This guy is very rarely injured. He's always been at the main events deal. I think that's one of the reasons why the guy suffers so much hate throughout his career. But honestly, when I think about, WrestleMania and John Cena, he made his first appearance at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle doing the wrap-off on the pre-show when they weren't able to book Ludacris, Jay-Z, Eminem, Fabulous, Famous, whatever that other guy's name was that had those 2 songs that were good and then disappeared forever. Honestly, in my mind, it's not hard for me to think about, WrestleMania 39 and John Cena being on that show. I know that John Cena is reaching out. He's been in a few movies. He's been in back-to-back Judd Apatow movies. And people are saying that he's getting a lot of buzz in Hollywood as of right now. But I think that John Cena knows that wrestling is what butters his bread. And I don't think he wants to be The Rock. He would be very hypocritical if that's what he ended up doing. If you go back to the build for WrestleMania 28, John Cena was really calling out The Rock for basically packing up his bags and leaving and not being a part of WWE. He came back to be the host of WrestleMania 27. It was challenged for him to be at WrestleMania 28, but he made an appearance on Monday Night Raw. He wrestled at Survivor Series. There were long, huge gaps when The Rock was not around. And I don't think John Cena wants to be that guy. He accepted the role that Vince McMahon gave him of basically moving back a little bit on the card, becoming United States Champion. But here they are in a rut trying to make SummerSlam be a big show. They pulled John Cena's number. He's in the main event. Honestly, in my mind, we didn't really get the build that I don't think the writers wrote down on paper for Rollins versus Cena. Maybe it ended up being better. Maybe it ended up not being as strong as it once was. But honestly, if it wasn't for that United States Championship challenge match where Seth Rollins reached out with his knee and broke John Cena's nose, I don't think we would be going into SummerSlam with as much buzz as we are. Cena ended up having to take a few weeks off. He made his return on Tough Enough instead of being on Monday Night Raw, which in my mind hurt it just a little bit. Where he accepted Seth Rollins' challenge to go champion versus champion, belt versus belt. It is what it is. Daniel Bryan had to talk John Cena into taking the match. But when it comes down to it, John Cena and Seth Rollins are both great wrestlers. They're both going to deliver us a great main event. I don't know, man. I don't think Cena's anywhere near slowing down. I don't think that he's going to be leaving WWE anytime soon. But at the same time, I don't really see a belt changing place. I don't see Rollins beating Cena. I don't see Cena beating Rollins. I don't know if it's some sort of outside interference, whether if it's Sheamus, whether if it's The Rock, whether if it's Sting, whether if it's Triple H, Stephanie, Batista, Kane. There's so many names that you could throw out here about, what's going down. Basically, word was out on the street that Kane was due to return on Monday Night Raw. The last time we saw him, Brock Lesnar had broke his leg. Seth Rollins, after the steel steps from Brock Lesnar where it broke the leg, went over and attacked Kane some more, adding more insult to injury. So if Kane was to come back, was he going to, play into the Undertaker versus Brock storyline, going after Brock Lesnar and defending his brother? Was he going to go after his former boss? And I don't know if he was really the boss, because I think they portrayed Kane as more being the boss of the Authority, but just he kept screwing up and couldn't get the job done. Co-workers, whatever you want to call it, the guy that was inside the same faction with each other, was he going to go after Rollins? But like I said, there's 1,000 things that could break this match after giving them putting them in different directions. But honestly, when it comes down to it, you look at Rollins, you look at Cena. I think what they do with SummerSlam matches so long is that basically they start feuds here and they go with the WWE plan of, we're going to make this last 3 months. Night of Champions, we have another 9 finish. And then what do you know what comes up in October? Hell in the Cell. You need to have a main event. John Cena versus Seth Rollins. WWE Championship on the line. Hell in the Cell. That draws attention. That's a big match. That's something that people are really going to care about. So I think that basically we're not getting a finish. I don't think that Rollins is going to win. I don't think that Cena is going to win. I think the United States Open Challenge on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown is going to continue. And I don't think we're going to see a winner in this feud for months to come.